Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Nintex RPA Deep Dive series, Day 2 edition. For those that joined us yesterday, you got a little bit of an overview of robotic process automation, software technology that allows you to automate those various computer tasks that are rather tedious, mundane, routine. RPA really helps you with automating those business processes. We discussed the inherent issues with the human, right, in the workplace. There's always challenges with humans completing those repetitive tasks. Mostly humans are slow. Talked about humans making mistakes, and that those errors can be very costly to your business. And then we pivoted yesterday to talk a little bit more about Nintex RPA specifically. Nintex RPA is designed for wide deployments with a no-code user interface that's really easy enough for the line of business to use and get started, yet powerful enough to really automate most all of those mundane routine tasks. And Nintex RPA, it connects to all of your systems of record, be it your core banking systems, card platforms, LOS, even the legacy systems which you may have in your bank or your business, those systems that are incredibly costly to replace. Those are the types of things you don't need to do when you use something like RPA. And then lastly, yesterday we explored some of the use cases, specifically within FinServ and banking. So if you missed yesterday's session, I'm not going to overview the whole thing here. You can go check out the recording, or if you just want a refresher, please go out and take a look at that. Now, on to today's session. So my introduction, I'm Harry Lauer, Director of Product Marketing at Nintex. So today we're going to take a closer look specifically at a Nintex RPA and really experience the tool itself. So I don't want to delay that anymore. We got a lot of great things to cover. I'm going to turn it over to Cole Anderson from Peak Consulting. He's going to do some further introductions and get us started. Cole?
Yeah, thanks, Harry. Appreciate the introduction. So just wanted to give a quick overview of Peak Consulting. I'm excited to have the real brains of the operation here today with me, our senior technical architect, Chris Hubbard. We'll be walking everybody through some of the overview of the RPA product and just some nice tips and tricks that Chris has deployed along the way. So just a quick background with Peak Consulting. Again, our relationship, we're a premier partner with Nintex and partner on quite a few of their products, but mainly focus on the RPA and have a good background in the RPA product. Chris has obviously spent years and years with the product. Peak Consulting overall, our passion really is helping banks maximize the ROI out of the core product and the core processor. So we spend a lot of our days working with bank operations units, making sure we can kind of fill the gaps and drive that efficiency out of a core producer, which aligns us well with RPA. And as Harry mentioned, I don't want to delay the excitement, I guess, over seeing the RPA product in action. So I'm going to go ahead and hand it over without any further ado to Chris Hubbard, our senior technical architect. And he's going to walk you through a few of the items surrounding RPA. Chris?
Awesome. Thank you, Cole. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Chris Hubbard. I'm a senior technical architect with Peak Consulting. So also, in addition to that, I am Nintex RPA certified expert. So at the end of the day, I am certified on the book side of things with the Nintex with their certification. But I also do carry it that I've worked with Nintex RPA since almost the start of time. My career started with Nintex back when it was a NavalSoft Foxtrot. Throughout the years, I've worked with all of the different flavors with Foxtrot of all the RPA automations that they had, starting with their original legacy green screen, which was Foxtrot LE, moving into Foxtrot 1, which later then they started their Foxtrot RPA, and has now become the Nintex RPA line. Definitely very excited. I've I've seen everything from the good, the bad, the ugly. We've had a lot of great features that have been added to Foxtrot and RPA throughout all of the years. And now the Nintex RPA product, where it sits today, has been just a true testament on how things have gotten better. The reason that all of this matters is it makes our scripting lives so much easier to know all of the different powers of what Nintex RPA has to offer. So Nintex RPA, thank you very much. So for Nintex RPA, some of the tips and tricks that I wanted to just kind of share with everybody was the use of Nintex RPA lookup list, knowing how to use the RPA formulas, saving of the CSV files, copy and paste, and then also, just most important, checking your rules when you're targeting different things. The biggest thing that I've started to use over the last couple of years more and more has been the lookup list functionality. And out of all of the different things of RPA, that has always been the one that has been able to take my scripts from, whether it's beginner or advanced, to beyond expert, because I'm able to make things more variable-based and easier to maintain. Before I go ahead and kick off the demonstration, I wanted to go ahead and give everybody who's not familiar with Nintex RPA just a brief demonstration of how it works and reacts with the government's FDIC website. So for those of you that have been part of a demo, you've seen where they've probably shown you different targets and highlights with the FDIC site. And so I just have a basic little script that's built that I'm going to go ahead and execute. And with this script, this is actually going to go out to their site. So I will apologize, I did forget to load my sample data file. So I actually have a selection of banks that I've already wanted to use. So here I'm actually just going out and running a quick script that's going to input the bank's FDIC number. I'm going to locate that bank based off of information from my data file. I'm actually going to click into it and then pull back some pieces of information that I wanted to obtain, such as the insured date, the unique FDIC number, their total asset size for total assets and total deposits. And so this is just one way of using Nintex RPA to be able to go out and either send data or receive data from another website. Now, the FDIC site has been one of those sites where, everybody says, okay, well, great, it works here. The thing I love most about the FDIC site is it almost has every different little flavor for me to play around with. Plus, on top of that, it's a free site that I use a lot of times when I'm training and trying out new features of Nintex RPA. So with this script, I've created a very basic script that's looping through. It's saving to some variables, and in return, it's outputting that data to a CSV file. So with this one, I actually have a few different little parts of my tips and tricks. And so I'm going to go ahead and pause this and return back to once again for some of the future items that I wanted to cover. So the very first thing that I wanted to talk about was the use of lookup lists. And so lookup lists are ways for you to add into your script more knowledge or more power to the script. The best way that I've always been able to describe a lookup list to anybody that's brand new to a Nintex RPA scripting is just to say that a lookup list is very similar to a Microsoft Excel workbook VLOOKUP function. And then for those of you that are technical, I can even then turn around and say, if you were to select something from a table where something equals, I can even explain it in a SQL term for those of you that have a higher background in the programming side. But from the standard use case side of explaining to just the entire audience, it makes a lot more sense when I say, if you do a VLOOKUP in Excel, you can return back a value. And so in the RPA, we're able to have one value. So let's just say, for example, we have a branch number 123. Well, if we need to obtain what that branch name is, 123 is the Main Street branch, we're able to have a variable in the RPA script that will do a lookup against a list of all of the branches with their numbers and their respective names and have returned back just that branch's name. And then also, just like a VLOOKUP, if we have a branch name, maybe we need the branch number because that's what we have to enter into our core system. So I could pass in Main Street branch, and then the RPA script is going to return back branch number 123. So having a lookup list is a translation between one set of data to another. So it gives us the ability to key off of an employee number to get back their name, or have the employee number and key back and have it pull back their email address. So lookup lists are not limited to which field we're searching, as to which field we can retrieve. So if we have multiple columns in our lookup list, we're able to search off of any one of our columns to return back the value from another. Another key thing that I use lookup lists for, and this is where I started coming up with creative ways to think outside of the box with lookup lists. So, for example, I work a lot with Fiserv Premier clients. And in Fiserv Premier, we have fields that are called flex data. FIS Metavante, they actually have a section called user-defined data or user data. And each core system may have something different, but it's just a set of fields that are going to be unique to that specific bank. And so what I could do, for example, is I could take a lookup list, populate it with one or more items. So, for example, if I need to add in 5 user-defined fields, I can tell the RPA script the name of each one of those fields in one column, and then in another column, provide it with the location of where it's going to get its data from. So by doing this, I'm able to write one script to loop through. And so if you give me 5 items today to add in, and then tomorrow you give me 5 more, now I have a total of 10, I'm making a change to my lookup script, my lookup list, and not my RPA script. By doing this, I'm able to safely implement a change to add more data to the screen, but I'm not going to impact my script or how I'm interacting with the screen. One other way I always like to kind of point that out is work smarter, not harder. I'm going to make RPA work for me, so I am not working for RPA. So by using the functionality that they've built into it with lists and loops, I'm able to perform even the same action, which RPA is known for, by reducing automated steps or reducing user entry by doing automated steps. Well, now I'm reducing the automated steps to just inside of a loop, so I can perform those same tasks over and over. And the one final thing that I've started doing, and not even final, a big thing that I've started doing with lookup lists is I've created a way for the RPA script to receive variables that it might need. So for example, today I'm wanting to save my Excel files to a particular drive. Or maybe I'm going to receive my data files from a particular location. By putting those variables inside of an Excel file, I can have my RPA script go out, load that Excel file in, and set variables for the script to use based off of what's in this Excel file. One great example for this was during our escrow analysis script. So for example, the escrow analysis, at one time they may say anything with a deficit of $250, we want to review it. So that would be a variable that I would put inside of this Excel file. Now tomorrow they may say, nope, we're okay, now we're going to go ahead and change it to 400. So by going into this Excel file, we can make a change to this variable that's going to be pulled into the script without modifying the script or changing the variable. And then, of course, the day after they realized that 400 was too far of a swing, so they could change it back to 250. So this allows flexibility of making changes to the variables in the script without actually impacting the script. So our scripts that are on a published level or in a production level, this is part of being able to maintain those variables that may need to fluctuate based off of current trends or changes in what we want to see for exceptions. Now, I've talked about the lookup lists that are built into RPA. The next powerful thing that I've found very useful is knowing my RPA formulas. RPA has an extensive library of formulas. As much as I would like to claim that I'm an expert and I know 100% of them, I don't. They have that many formulas to where I know a great majority. I probably know 98% of them. There's a lot of formulas that have been added throughout the years where somebody will ask for a formula and then it gets put in, and it could be a formula that only one person ever has used, or it could be a formula such as the remove function that I know a lot of people are using. And so remove is a great little function that I've used throughout the last several years, where we could take data that has special characters, letters, numbers, and spaces, and we can tell the script which character type to remove. So for example, if I want to remove all alpha characters, I could tell the script to remove all alpha, but retain everything else, and it's all built into a remove function. This is very similar to a find and replace, except for it's doing it on the character type level. So if it's alpha character or special character, I could do it at the overall level versus trying to use a regex or do a find and replace for each of the type of characters. Another formula that I've found that's been very useful has been zero fill date. A lot of times when I'm working with the mainframe sessions, they want the dates in a specific format. They want full month, full day, full year, meaning they want 2 digits for the month, 2 for the day, and 4 for the year. By doing the zero fill date, if I have February 2nd, I could have the script put in 02/02 and then the full year. This has been a great one because originally the old formatting for this was we had to do month filled date, and then of course we would do a slash with a date filled or zero filled with the day, and then do the year. So this actually combined all of those formulas into one. Now, when I was putting this slide together, the one formula that stands out was a real new one that just came out last month, and it was date numeric. This one I'm going to specify, it's not on the slides, but date numeric. So, and then from there, we do have our left of and our right of functions. And these are great for being able to grab something to the left of a space, of a dash, etc. Now, saving to a CSV file is very key and critical, and it helps us by being able to export data that we're maybe grabbing from a website. So by grabbing this data from websites, we're telling the script to go out and scrape this data. But what do we want to do with it? So we can actually turn around and take that data and save it to a CSV. This is a very common thing that I use for exporting data that I've gathered. And I do have an example to show of this, and I will share my screen here shortly, but also to be able to export my error logs. So if something with the screen goes down, I can capture that an error has happened on what date and what time. And then another great tips and trick that I've been using a lot more, especially over the last year during SBA PPP days, was when I was boarding scripts, I've been using copy and paste. And for this particular method, I'm going to show this as an example of how I can copy text into the Windows clipboard using my Nintex RPA script, but then how I can send that value to the screen. By doing a copy and paste method, this allows us to do our bypass keyboard without doing the bypass keyboard. So just like a user, they can do Control-C, copy some text, and then go over to the field and do Control-V to paste it in. The RPA script can do the same thing. What this allows us to do is send large strings of text, or even just any type of field that we're having problems with interacting because we can send it in one action versus trying to send individual keystrokes for that data. Copy and paste has also become more efficient on websites that have a lot of jQuery or some sort of code that runs behind the scenes for validation by allowing us to do a copy and paste so we don't have to worry about the web page causing a collision and causing more interference with our script itself. And then finally, the most common area that even as myself, when I'm building out a script, is just knowing and checking our rules. And when we're targeting different things, the nice thing about RPA is that it does a lot of extensive rule gathering to know what item it is that we're targeting on the screen. Now, sometimes it's pulling back so much in rules that it will pull back the customer's name or customer account number in that rule. So we do need to know that we will have to go in at times and ignore certain rules, such as if it's wanting to do an exact match on the name of it, and it says the FDIC's number in it, or it says the bank name. So knowing our rules and knowing to go in and check these rules will help ensure that we have a successful script, but also we're keeping the true power of RPA and allowing it to validate and know exactly which field on the screen we're working with. RPA was not built off of XY coordinates. So for example, we can target an item on the screen, and if it moves on the screen, if we move our browser to the other side, we're not going to lose that target because we're not looking at just XY coordinates. We're also looking at the true underlying rules of where that falls on the web page or the behind-the-scenes name of those actual elements. So RPA knows that we're looking for the button that has the ID of submit. So with these rules, there are times that we do need to check them because it's also pulling back an item that's part of the screen where it includes the customer's name or account number, or something as simple as the URL where it has query information in that URL.
And Chris, I know you'd gone through the slides, but it'd probably be beneficial to show for the folks that are newer to the product, just kind of go through general targeting and stuff like that in the RPA UI.
Yep, I was actually, so I'll go ahead and share my screen again. And please let me know, go ahead and mention in the chat and let us know if you're having any difficulties seeing my screen. I'm going to go ahead and start sharing that here. So hopefully everybody's seeing my FDIC script again.
Yep, we see it.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So with the FDIC script, as my example, I'm going to go ahead and just pull this up and just show some of the very basics of targeting within Nintex RPA. So Nintex RPA has made it to where everything that we're going to do, for the most part, when we're interacting with the application is all from this bullseye target. And so when we drag and drop this bullseye, we're able to lock onto that particular field and select that target so we can send our data to the screen. Now, when we pull back, each different type of field actually has its own set of actions. So a text box will allow us to send and receive data, but a dropdown will also allow us to be able to select something from that dropdown. So as we're targeting, RPA has the technology and the intelligence to know what type of field it is that we're targeting. And so when we are targeting the bank name, for example, and I want to send some data to this, I could send the value First National Bank as an example. And not every website allows us to bypass the keyboard. The bypass the keyboard is a great function that if we can use it, we will, but some websites don't allow it because it doesn't know that we've done an update to that particular field. And this is where my copy and paste method will come in for when we can't bypass the keyboard, but being able to know that we can send this data to the screen helps us make the script more successful. Now, for the rules, this was one of the key areas that I was talking about. up here with the checkbox with the rules, this particular page is not just pulling XY coordinates, it's pulling in additional pieces of information that tells it exactly which field it is that I'm targeting. So behind the scenes, they're going to give those fields names, and they're also going to give them IDs. And so the nice thing about Nintex RPA is it locks in on those, it pulls those in so it can help ensure that it's targeting the correct field, versus doing an XY coordinate base where if anything is moved on the screen, or if the browser's on the right side of your computer versus the left side, we're not losing it because the browser's in a different spot on the computer that day. And then, of course, when we send this data to the screen, we're able to have that field to where Foxtrot or Nintex RPA will send that data to the bank name field. Now, there are times where we cannot work with a field that we could bypass a keyboard. And also, one of the things is in Internet Explorer, Nintex RPA started supporting Chrome as of May of this year, which has added a huge amount of script performance where things are running faster, more efficient. The text boxes are sending faster. But in other browsers, such as Internet Explorer, where we're required to still use with certain core systems, we can use the copy and paste method. And what the copy and paste method allows us is within the script, we can use the set clipboard action. So just like a user setting their clipboard by doing a Control-C, we could tell our script to set the clipboard. And I live in Omaha, so I'm going to go ahead and use Omaha for my clipboard. And so just like a user doing Control-C, I have now set Omaha to the clipboard of the script. So when I target the city now, I am able to send my paste command, so I will paste Omaha into the city. And with the different ways of sending data, this has become a common thing that I use, especially in some of the core systems where I have to interact with Internet Explorer, because it's a way to quickly and efficiently send that data. And so under the expression builder, we have our keyboard command. And just like a user, if we need to do specific keyboard functions, we can do that. And so I'm going to send the Control-V key. And I will make the adjustment to allow it so it will send that correctly. And when I hit OK and submit that, I've just sent Omaha to the city. So using the set clipboard and paste command has also been a great benefit in other scripts where I can now send data much faster to a text field in Internet Explorer.
Yeah, Chris, this is Cole. I'm just going to jump in for a second. So I think one thing that you're kind of illustrating is that's really the power of the product, right? It's not just something simple where we're sending a simple, command to a certain field. I mean, there's always going to be things you run into, whether it's Internet Explorer or Chrome or just the field itself, kind of your different systems overall. The real power of this product overall is you can navigate kind of around anything and everything with a lot of different tools at your disposal. And this is just kind of a good example of, 3 or 4 different ways you can kind of send information depending on what you may run into.
Exactly. And one of the analogies I like to use for Nintex RPA is Nintex RPA has a lot of tools. It is ultimately, at the end of the day, it is a Swiss Army knife. It has all the tools to come up with a lot of different scenarios, and we're able to overcome areas where we might have problems with a website causing issues where we need to now do a paste. So we have that as a flexible option, just as an example. Now, one of the scripts that I was talking about a little bit was using a lookup list. And so this is my example of a lookup list script. And so I built this one out a little bit more to illustrate how Nintex RPA is going to loop through a lookup list that it's going to import, bring the data in, and then create variables based off of what is in my Excel file. And so to show the Excel file, I have an Excel file called script settings. And within my script settings, these are different variables that I want my script to be able to have for processing. So where's my location of my data? Are we in production? And then you'll also note that I have two different variables where I'm actually using other variables from the script to populate my own variables. And then last, I have some notification pieces. So if I ever need to change this, I can come simply into my Excel script, or if I need to add to it, I can simply add those to my script settings file. And right now I have only my three basic variables in my script, but when I execute my script, it is going to loop through, bring in my script settings, and as it's going through, it's now building out my variables. So these are now variables that are available to me within my script. And the next time I run this, if any of those variables change in my Excel file, my script will have those updated settings without me needing to come in and make those changes to my script. And so for my demonstration, that actually concludes my demonstration. I definitely want to say thank you for everyone for your time. I appreciate this opportunity to be able to show you Nintex RPA, to show you some of the little tips and tricks that have made my scripting a lot easier. It's made it more enjoyable to teach and to be able to show the true power of how this has evolved from the old mainframe days to being something that is not dependent on a specific core or a specific application, but truly an RPA tool that will work with almost all systems, applications, and web browsers. So thank you very much for your time.
All right, Chris, thank you very much. That was a great demonstration. We do have some time for Q&A. So Chris, if you want to hang on, there's a couple questions that have come through here. One of them is actually asking about Edge browser, whether Nintex RPA will work with Microsoft Edge as well as Chrome. Yeah, Nintex RPA can target and automate elements within Microsoft Edge, as well as IE and Chrome. So that's functionality we have. Chris, I got a question here for you. It's a good one for you to answer. Is Nintex able to process or convert unstructured data? You want to talk to that?
Yes, definitely be more than happy. So I'm going to go off on an assumption for unstructured data in the sense that we possibly could be talking about something similar to like a system core report where it's coming in some sort of text file. So I have dealt with a lot of unstructured data in the sense that it's not structured to where I could pull it into Microsoft Excel or Microsoft Access, but I can load it and work through it and parse out that data. So for my escrow analysis report example, we'll have over sometimes 100 lines of text that is for one particular loan account. And so I've actually looped through each of the lines and using the keywords off of the text, because I do have to have at least some sort of structure or a logical point to put in there. But unstructured to me could mean that I'm going to have multiple lines of text for one particular account. And I've taken that where I have converted that data from that 100 lines of text to one flat Excel row. So it's something that can be reported and rolled back up to management or to the operations unit.
Yeah, Harry, and this is Cole. I'll just add to that. That's actually a lot of what we do. The folks on the phone that are in the FinServ and the banking industry, that some of those reports haven't been updated in years and years, and it gets back to the human element, right? So I've always got a human kind of trouncing through reports, and a lot of times there's data on there that I know is not great, but that's just how the system works. We use Nintex RPA a lot to carve through those reports and make more manageable, structured exception reporting pieces for that matter. So we definitely do a lot of data cleanup and data structuring with the product.
That's great. Hey, we got a question here. Oh, one thing, Nick who asked the question about unstructured data. If that didn't answer your question, Nick, feel free to add to your question in there. I do have a question about sharing the demo scripts, Chris, that you've shown. I will add that if you go out to nintex.com, we have a link to our, gallery.nintex.com. If you go out there, you can actually download templates of workflow, RPA, ProMap, process management as well. We have pre-built scripts out there that you can capture. Chris, I don't know if these are ones you can share or will share, but if not, you can certainly go out to the website and catch some. So another one here. Any samples on the workflow linked to the Nintex RPA forms? So I don't know. We're not going to be able to show any demo here, but we do have templates out on the website that you can grab that that have workflows that also kick off RPA bot flows. Not sure if that answered the question, but feel free to head out there. I'm not real clear on this question. It says your specific technical differentiate. Oh, your differentiators with UiPath. Chris, I'll let you speak to this too. I would say at a high level, Nintex RPA is designed as a no-code solution, so it's very easy for people to get started. It's very easy to start building what we call those bot flows, those RPA scripts, and you can get up and running in a matter of, say, hours or days, as opposed to solution like UiPath that can take months to do at a very, very high cost. Chris, anything you want to add as you're up against any compete scenarios like that? Or Cole?
This is Chris. I'll go ahead and just jump in with this one real quick. So a lot of times I come from a programming background. I come from a web programming as well as Windows application based. And, but also at the same time, when I'm working with different users, whether it's in a training environment or a one-on-one script building session, the users the people who are writing the scripts, they do not come from a background of programming. So to them, the low code, no code approach has been great. A lot of it has the target capability. It's the flow of the script itself, all of the breakdown, the way it's laid out. It's easy for anyone with almost any technical background to be able to build a script. The learning curve is still there, but it's a lot less of an incline of a learning curve for anyone who doesn't have a programming background. So.
All right, thank you. Another question here is regarding OCR in Nintex RPA. This is something that we're working on. Chris, do you want to comment any on how you approach OCR with Nintex RPA, or how you do workarounds with that?
A lot of times for the workarounds that we've had to do up until, because I know that as you said, it's something that I know is in the roadmap for hopefully I'm hoping the near future, but I know it's going to be in the future. But the OCR side of things has almost been the kryptonite until recently for Nintex RPA. And they're overcoming this challenge that, based off of what I'm hearing, PDFs and images have been definitely the issue. And a lot of times, just the software alone that does OCR reading is a compiled software that's larger than Nintex itself, the RPA program. So I know there's a lot that goes into it. That one there, I've never really had a great successful workaround that I could say will work for everybody. But a lot of times there's different PDF scrapers or other things that I've had to use. But I know Cole might be able to jump in and add a little bit to that as well, other than the PDF scraper.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's typically the tool. I mean, using kind of some of those PDF scrapers or those rippers, we we've used in conjunction. I think the beautiful part about RPA is it can kind of fit in between certain things. Like it fits in between like an LOS system and a core processing platform. And sometimes we have to, we can add in some, a data scraper and stuff where we can pull that information into the RPA and put it in the process, but it fits in the middle well. But yeah, as you said, that any new advancements, and Nintex I know is working on enhancements in that area, but definitely excited to see the continued development in that area.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, we've worked with third-party OCR vendors as well, so we can certainly connect via that. One other question here, does Nintex RPA interface with an IBM mainframe?
That's actually a great question. Yes, it does. So throughout the years, everything kind of got started off of the different mainframe sessions, depending on the nickname you have for it, 3270, the green screen, the dark side, all of the different parts. That's actually where it started, was with the Foxtrot LE product. And since that was the flagship, and there are still different vendors and companies that use the older mainframe sessions, and I won't say older as in, but they still use the IBM mainframe connection to the emulator. RPA still does support that, and with the enhancements, one of the nice things about going from the original Foxtrot LE to now using Nintex RPA, and even if you weren't using LE, you have all of the same powers and features of lookup lists and loops and all of the functionality that's built in, so it does work with the IBM mainframe session. So, great question.
All right, great, thank you. So I do want to highlight that there are additional resources for you. You should be able to click the resource button and pull down some of our assets, including the tips and tricks and RPA one-pager, as well as some other content. I did get a comment that somebody was having trouble getting that information or being able to download it. I'll look into that, but regardless, we will be emailing you after the session with links to the content. Additionally, we have some great case studies out on the Nintex.com website, as well as use cases, and we break those down by industry. So depending on what industry you're in, most of the people on this call are within banking and FinServ, but if you're not, feel free to go out to the website and take a look at different use cases that Nintex RPA can really help, as well as the case studies. And then I also mentioned gallery.nintex.com for downloading any of those templates you might want to capture. Chris, Cole, anything else to add before we adjourn for today?
No, I just wanted to thank everybody, and absolutely, if we can help in any way or answer any additional questions, feel free to reach out, and just happy to be helped.
That's great. Yeah,
thank you, everyone. I just want to say thank you to everyone in Nintex for your time today. I really enjoyed going over this with y'all, so thank you.
Yeah, thank you both. And as Cole said, feel free to reach out to us either directly at Nintex or directly to Peak Consulting. There are trials out on Nintex.com for Nintex RPA, as well as the rest of our process automation platform. You can also request a demo through there, either reach out to Peak directly, or you can do it through our website, and we can get you a demo, look specifically at some of your problem areas, and show you how Nintex RPA can help you solve those. All right, with that, I want to thank everybody for joining. We do have a third session tomorrow, so if you did sign up for that, you should have an email in your inbox with the link to connect to that session tomorrow. So hope to see you there. If not, take care. Have a great day. Bye-bye.